This is going to be a pretty quick review about how to deal with fractions. To start this off, I'm going to talk a little bit about an old trick. It's a tool, it's called cross multiplying. So the first fraction I'm going to look at is this one, x divided by 3 equals 6. Okay, the original idea on cross multiplication was if we take the things that we are looking at and we say we can cross multiply those across the equal sign, we would get, okay, therefore x is equal to 6 times 3. That means that x is equal to 18, 18 being the final answer. Of course, the more sophisticated way to think about that is actually taking 3 times x over 3 equals 6 times 3, where I am actually multiplying both sides by 3 in order to get this side to cancel out so that I still have the same 6 times 3 I had over here. So it's the same thing, but it's just a slightly more advanced way of doing it. Okay, there's that one. The next question, I'm only going to do 3 of these. The next one I'm going to do is x divided by 5 equals 2 divided by 10. Again, if you want to talk about the cross multiplication trick, then you would be taking the 5 times 2 and then dividing by 10. So x is equal to 5 times 2 and then divide by 10. If you work that out a little further, you get 5 times 2 is 10 divided by 10, which of course equals to 1. If you, of course, now think about it a little bit more intelligently and say, wait a second, high school, we actually know that what we're doing is taking the 5 times both sides. So then we have the x over 5 is equal to 2 tenths times 5. So what we did was we took the 5 and we multiplied it on both sides because it's right here. So that way the 5's cancel out and I'm left with the same 2 times 5 divided by 10 right here, which gives me the same answer. Okay, the third quick review, again, if I'm going too quickly, press pause. There's no need to try to rush through this stuff. The third question was, here we go, 4 divided by x equals 3 divided by 9. On this one, two different schools of thought. The first is that you could actually take the whole thing and flip it upside down. Take both parts and flip it upside down because the x is on the bottom, and if we flip it, it would make it a little bit easier to deal with. The other, that's not a bad way to think about it, so then you'd actually just end up rewriting the whole thing as x over 4 equals 9 over 3. Now the catch is that if you flip only say one side and not the other, you're going to get the wrong answer. So you got to make sure you flip both sides. Both sides have to flip over. Okay, so now we can just continue with this question here. Again, now you would cross multiply there. That's not cancel, that's cross multiply. I'm just looking at that. It's actually I want to redraw that because that oh, that didn't work. I just erased all of the wrong things. Okay, let me see if I can fix this. Here we go. Well, that little blue bar kind of went in the wrong spot entirely, so we'll keep moving. Let me put that one back up. Okay, so let me put that one back up that we had. We said that the 4 over x equals 3 over 9, and we were going to go with the idea where we just flip the whole thing upside down, which then meant we were dealing with x over 4 equals 9 over 3. Then I was going to cross multiply those guys and then divide, so that left me with x is equal to 9 times 4 divided by 3, which is, of course, 9 times 4 is 36 divided by 3, which is, of course, equal to 12, 12 being the final answer. Okay, I hope that helps out a little bit there. Basic tool for how to deal with cross multiplication. Okay, I'm going to now go on a little bit further and say, how does that apply to trigonometry? Well, here are 3 more SOH CAH TOA examples. Here we go. The first one is going to be a sine. I'm going to say, let's say the sine of 25 degrees is equal to x over 5. Okay, so I want to draw your attention back to this question over here. Notice I've got a fraction, x over 3, and a non-fraction. Well, what do I have here? I have a fraction, x over 5, and a non-fraction. Now, yes, it says sine of 25, which of course makes it look ugly, but that's just a number. Sine isn't a variable. It's just a weird-looking, bizarre number. So really, the same thing we did up here where we cross-multiplied works here. You cross-multiply right there. So let's go ahead and do that. So you end up with x is equal to the cross-multiply part, 5 times sine of 25 degrees. You type that into your calculator, you type this part into your calculator, and you don't even need to use nsolve because you're going to get it, right? Calculator says 2.11. Now you should stop and try it. Hit pause and try it. Okay, I'm going to assume that you did that, so I'm going to go on. Shrink. Whoa, I'm going to shrink those couple parts. Here we go. Let's see if I can shrink that part and shrink that part there. Okay, this page is getting kind of full. Okay, so moving on to the second sine one. Here we go. Oh, I'm going to do a cosine this time. So now I've got cosine of 34 degrees equals 7 over x. Okay, this one is similar to this one right here. Notice where I have a fraction with the x on the bottom. Well, here I've got the fraction, but the x is on the bottom. So over here, to help me out, I flipped it upside down. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to flip everything upside down. So let's first take that and just slide it up a little bit so I can right underneath it. Here we go. So now I actually have 1 over cosine of 34 degrees equals x over 7. At this point, this question looks an awful lot like this one right here. Look at that. I have a fraction equals another fraction. I have one fraction equals another fraction. So up here we said let's cross multiply to make it happen. So here we go. Cross multiply. I need to shrink some things down because I'm running out of space. There's that. So we flipped it upside down. So now for the cross multiplication, I had the 1 times 7 divided by cosine of 34 degrees. And x is equal to that thing. Okay, so now stop, type this part into your calculator, that part right there, and try to get your answer, because what I get when I do it is stop, pause, do it on your calculator, see if you can get this, 8.44. Ta-da! Isn't that awesome? Look how smart you're getting. Okay. At this point, I've got one more, and I'm not really sure how it's going to fit in here, but I think it is. No, actually, I'm just going to jump to a new slide because, well, it's kind of a big deal. So here, there we go, new slide. This one is using the tangent of x equals 8 over 10. Now here, all of a sudden, things look a little bit different because the variable is right here, which is kind of weird. So this is the case when you must use inverse trig. That would be all of those sine -1, cosine -1, or tangent -1. because we need to figure out how to solve for this guy right here, which means this has to go away, and the only way to make this go away is to use the inverse tangent. So what we end up doing is we would take the tangent inverse times the original question, tangent of x equals, since we did it over here on this side, we have to do it over here on the other side. So that would be tangent -1, 8/10. And now when you do that, the brilliant super duper part is that all of this cancels out, which leaves you with only x equals, and when you go and type this part into a calculator just like that, you are going to get the brilliant answer of 38.66 degrees. Now we need to take a quick moment and say, wait a second, I'm not getting that answer. Well, you might not be. So if you're not getting that answer, here you go. Here's your quick settings to check your calculator. Here's your calculator screen, right? Up here at the top, you have a little window with a lot of buttons down here, right? Here's a whole bunch of buttons. Okay, right up here in the very top corner, right there, there's a little gear. Move your mouse so that it's up on the gear, and a big yellow box is going to appear. The yellow box is going to appear, and it's going to tell you what mode it is. It's either going to say radian or it's going to say degree. Chances are, if you got the wrong answer on the last page, it says radian. So the way you change it, you go ahead and click on that little gearbox that's up here in the corner. Up here in the corner, you click on the gearbox, and you're going to go to Settings. And then you're going to go to General. And then you're going to go to Angle and change it to degrees. Finally, final, big, very important thing. I'm even going to make it in a different color. Here we go. You have to make default. If you don't do this right here, it's just going to flip back on you and go back to radians. So make this your default and you'll be all set, all right? Hopefully that helped clarify some working with algebra, fractions, cosine, tangent, and the like. Have a good day.